Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new iOS 10 development course. In this video, we're going to be collaborating everything that we have learned so far, from labels to buttons to text fields and images, and make an app called Age in Months, which basically takes in some input from the user and converts those numbers, which is basically the age of the user, and converts it into the months. Alright, without any further ado, let's get started. So we're going to open up Xcode and open up a new project. Single view application. We're going to name it Age Application in Months. It doesn't really make sense, but whatever. We're going to keep it like that. And we're going to find a place to put it. We're going to create it in here. Again, I'm hoping that you guys are very comfortable about all these things in terms of the view controller, main storyboard, and stuff like that. So we're going to open up main storyboard. We're going to change a couple of things here. We're going to go for iPhone SE as always. We're going to change the simulator to be SE as well. We're going to run it just so it doesn't take longer afterwards. I want to drag and drop a label on the very top. Since it's our first legit application, I want to put in some time and actually do some customization in the label as well. I'm going to put it centered and aligned. I'm going to call the label to be Age in Months. I'm going to change the font as well. I'm going to customize it to be Times New Roman. I'm going to increase the size for it. I'm going to fix the size problem so it shows all up. Since we already have gone through all the constraints, we're going to put that on there as well. I'm going to put the constraint just like what it is right now. Alright, perfect. Now I'm going to bring in a text field so people can enter their age into it. Make it longer. Again, give it constraints. So far, so good. And I'm going to put in a placeholder saying, please enter your age in years. Okay. Now, align it in the middle as well. I'm not going to change the size for that. And since it's just going to be numbers that they have to put in, I'm going to change the keyboard type to be number pad. Next, I'm going to drag and drop a button, which should say something like submit. I'm going to change the size for it. I'm going to also change the size for the text inside, so it's nice and clear. I'm going to give it some alignments, put some constraints on it. Good. Now at the end, we're going to enter a new label, which will spit out the result for that. I'm going to stretch it out all the way just for the fact that it might have more information in it. I'm going to call it, let's just call it label for now. I'm going to change the size to be 20. Again, change the font to be, let's see which one looks better. Future looks good. Alright, instead of medium, I'm going to do bold. Get that done. Now the last thing is I'm going to bring in some kind of image. I tried looking it on Google. I was just afraid about the copyright issue. So there is a website which you can go on and change your text to be an image. And you can just go around, play around with it. You can write any kind of text here, change all the settings here, what kind of fonts you need, create it. It'll show it up here. Download it, which I already have downloaded. And then, since I already have it downloaded, I'm going to drag and drop it into my application. Again, it should be right up above the assets. Keep all these options the same way that they are. Don't change anything. And now I'm going to drag in image view. Increase the size for it so it looks nice and clear again. Good. Again, I'm going to insert the image onto it by clicking on this right here. I'm going to play around with these options and see which one looks better and keep that. Center, top left. I guess aspect would be a lot better. Alrighty. And then what we have to do is drag. Let's see if I can change the color of the background as well. Okay, completely covering it. Highlighted, alpha background. There you go. And this seems like a cool color, but I want to keep it like that. Yep. And as you guys can see, this is on top of everything that we have right now on our screen. That's why it's hidden. Just like any other editing software out there, I'm going to send it in the back. So everything else is on top of this background. And to do that, simply going to go and do a search for send to the back, which is right here. Editor, arrange, send to the back. There you go. So everything else is now on top of this background. Great. Everything looks good. Let's run this application and see if it actually works just fine. Alright, after successfully restarting my laptop for about 3 or 4 times, I have been able to run the simulator, which was giving me some problems for some reason anyways. Let's continue on. So the application looks so far so good. I was just worried about this UI image view word right here, which does not actually appear when we actually run the application. So let's move on. Once we are done with the layout, we're going to bring them all together right in front of us, the layout and the code, and start linking them. We're going to need to link this right here, which is the input, user input years. Again, I'm doing the camel case there. We're just going to use it as an outlet. The submit button, and that's the results needed button. And since it's an action, we're going to change it to be an action and continue on. And right here is where we want to show the results. Results shown label. That makes sense, right? Alright, so far so good. Let's see if we have been able to link everything all together and see if this actually works. In print linked, just to see that we have been able to do everything so far. And again, this print would only show it in the debug area. Alrighty, build successful. We are running the application. We click label. Submit. It's going to start showing up right there. Linked, as many times as we click. Alright, so far we're good. What we want to do, have the user input, which is the user input years.text, and we want to multiply it simply by 12 to get the months. And if you guys notice, there is a red sign right here which tells us there's something wrong in our code. So let's click on it, and this is where Xcode tells you what's going on. It says binary option, the star or the asterisk cannot be applied to operand, strings, and integer. So string, we haven't covered that yet, so let's just talk about it really briefly because we're going to have another video completely on these things. But strings are basically a bunch of words or sentences that cannot be multiplied with any number, because we cannot multiply any word with a number in real world as well to get a result out of it. Swift is actually very type sensitive in a sense where if you are trying to do something with two different types of variables. For instance, this text that we get from user is a string, and this 12 is a whole number, which is called integer. We cannot make them both do anything. And to make them correlate to each other and do something together, we're gonna have to change one of them into other. So to change, let's just change this string into an integer. To do that, we're simply gonna put brackets around them, and in the beginning we're gonna say int, stands for integer. So what we have done is we have changed the text that we receive into an integer, and we're gonna multiply it by 12. But if you guys notice, we still have some problem going on. So let's click on it, fix it, insert exclamation mark. And here it says value of optional type string, not unwrapped. Did you mean to use exclamation mark or question mark? All right, we're gonna get into this information a bit more detail afterwards, but for now, this right here is saying that there might be a chance where the user does not input anything in this text bar and clicks submit. Since that is a chance, right now in our code, this will crash and it'll be a very fatal error. For that, to fix that, it's simply giving us an option to do insert this exclamation mark at the end. I forgot to mention the exclamation mark represents that we know that there will always be a value in this text bar, 100%, which is not true. There is another way around it to make your app undestructible, in other words, and have no bugs at all. Because this wrapping would create a lot of bugs in it, but we'll get to that later on. So this wrapping exclamation mark simply means we know that there is a value in it. Just use it and change it into an integer. Now this right here is saying that you need to put an exclamation mark at the end of the entire thing as well, just for the fact that user might be able to use a different kind of input where they can enter a text into it or a different word or something like that. All right, let me make some sense out of it again. So right now we have this exclamation mark which stands for the fact that we know that there will always be a value in it, which is not 100% solution to this problem, but we'll get to that later on. For now, let's just put an exclamation mark which is also called unwrapping. Okay, and so far we are okay with it. There's no problems whatsoever. And now what we want to do is we want to represent this entire information, which is the user input times 12, into our label right here, which will be called results shown label. So let's just say results shown label dot text is equal to this right here. Okay, so what it's telling me right now is the fact that this entire thing is gonna result into an integer, and this label does not take any kind of integer in it. It takes strings. So what we have to do is change the entire thing into a string. Easy peasy. And that's how you change it into a string. So we call it string and whatever's in there. And this is where the missing information has come back to insert, unwrap the entire thing again. Okay, just follow this for now and I'll explain if you didn't get anything in the later videos when we get to it. Alright, this should be it. And let's see if it actually works like that. If everything goes well, we are done with our application. Alrighty, when we click on it, we enter, we are 6 years old, submit that, and it says 6 times 12, 72. Amazing. 12 years old, submit that, 144 months old. You know what? Actually, let's just make it say the entire thing. You are, and then put a space in there, put plus again, months old. Notice that I have a space here and I left a space in here as well, just to make it a full sentence. Alright, now let's see if the full sentence is shown on the application or not. I'm just worried about the spacing that might not be good enough for the entire sentence to fit in. 12, submit. You are 100 years old. Alrighty, we have everything working just fine. There we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We have used all our previous experience where we had came across labels, text fields, buttons, also put in an image, and we have used all that information to make our first application. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, you learned something out of it as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.